Chloe is asked about Karen Shaw, and quite an easy question, quite a simple question from Lloyd Burr. But Lloyd just basically goes, should she just have gone to the Waitangi Tribunal? Like just gone along rather than making such a big hubbub? And that was a question to prompt this part of the conversation.
I mean, that would be entirely in line with the doctrine of parliamentary supremacy. The kind of hot take that I'm getting from all of this is that the government is terrified of accountability. They have been legislating incredibly quickly without all too much kind of opportunity for public participation. So let's just get a few facts straight. So the Section 7AA came into effect in 2017. Actually, David voted for it, as did Dr. Parmjeet Palmer, who gave a speech in support of it at third reading. And that inserted not the kind of things that David's talking about with regard to uplifts, but commitment to Te Tiriti o Waitangi and reporting requirements for the Chief Executive of Oranga.
So this is really important. The 7AA, as far as I understand it, one of the biggest things about it is the CEO needs to write reports based on how the kids are being looked after. So a big part of this is just what it is a way to measure how they're going. That's a big part about 7AA. I don't think I show it in this clip, but it does say it in this conversation. And I just think, once again, the government, as I think Chloe just said, is kind of scared of being of accountability. All the things that they've cancelled and all the things that they said they'll no longer do, and all the looking at information, getting assessments on the information, they're going to ignore all of that stuff. And this, to me, seems like, and I've asked for some professional help to come on and explain more to us about 7AA, but it seems like a big part of it is the CEO being accountable for what's happening, especially when it relates to inclusion of the contractual agreement the Crown has with Māori, reporting on that. And that's what they're getting rid of. So therefore, there will no longer have to be any kind of accountability from the CEO. There'll no longer have to be any kind of reports made about what's happening with this contractual agreement, the founding document of our nation, between Māori and the Crown. So I don't think we get that in full from the clips I've showed you, but I kind of wanted you to know based on my understanding. So anything, Chewie, or should we keep going?
No, keep rolling.
Tamariki. So if they have concerns about how that's being applied, we should have that debate and we should have that evidence in the public arena. The Waitangi Tribunal is a place to do that. Another thing to note is that the reason that Karen Shaw has been summoned in front of the Waitangi Tribunal is because she refused to participate in giving them any written or oral evidence voluntarily. So again, there is an opportunity here for meaningful accountability, for public discussion, for evidence to be aired, and for us to have a rational debate about how we legislate moving forward and what commitment to Te Tiriti o Waitangi looks like. Because this is about reducing disparities for Māori children in state care. The other point...
Look at David Seymour's face. I know you don't want to, but just the kind of eye-rolling, smirking, shaking of his head, the dismissive nature. I've actually got a clip later on, and it's I've titled it Seymour patronising Chloe again and playing the race card again. It's just... if these two were having a debate at school, he would be not just second, he'd be about ninth out of two people. He doesn't ever offer anything, any form of valid conversation based around evidence or research. It's always vibes. And just how he's even acting right now, it's just revolting. It's revolting.
Do you know, like, this is a great comparison between him and Chloe, right? Just, it doesn't matter the subject, it's always the same. Chloe has to speak rapidly.
Yeah.
Right? Because she's got such a short amount of time to express, like, quite complex concepts and provide their context.
Yeah.
So she goes hell for leather.
Yeah, for sure.
And then we cross to Seymour, who can speak very slowly because he's just talking about vibes, and these things don't come into it. And people have told me, and people feel this. He doesn't have to. He's not imparting complex ideas. He's not putting things in its context. He doesn't have to do what Chloe has to do. He doesn't have to work hard to be a shitty person. It can just flow sedately like a river of bullshit.
In fact, I've heard he's the shittiest person on the face of the planet from some people. Let's just get to the end of this clip.
That I would make is that, look, those who are advocating to retain Section 7AA in place are the Children's Commissioner, survivors of abuse in state care, many experts, and those on the front line. On the other side, you have National Actor New Zealand First.
What do you...
That would be called a mic drop. If I didn't value my equipment so much,
it's a mic spike.
I just pick it up and I just drop it. Yeah, and that's often what's happening, isn't it? You go to the experts, the people in the field, the advocates, the people who are all involved with it, and you're like, they all say the opposite from what you're saying. National Act, New Zealand First Government. What does that mean? Kia ora again, whānau. The clip you've just watched is brought to you today by our patrons. If you want to be a part of what we do, if you want to get behind what we're doing, if you're enjoying our content and wanting to share our content, then maybe you would consider being a patron to Big Hairy News. Head to www.patreon.com/Big Hairy News to sign up to one of our levels and be a patron. At this point, we are only a listener and viewer supported show. It all comes down to you guys. If you feel like jumping on board to help, then head to patreon.com/Big Hairy News. Hooroo!